weird, abstract, bizarre, freaky things. And I'm going to start with this quote, which is on the wall of the Pink Palace. And I want you to think about this quote as kind of like a framer to this whole talk, and imagine it as not a negative, but a positive. It's a positive, I swear to God, it really is. We start with DeSoto, man who found the Mississippi River, first European. He actually found it because he was running away from slaughtering like 1,000 natives in Alabama, and he was too scared to go back to his ships in the Gulf, and so he went west where there was gold and died in Arkansas, which is terrible. What hurt him was the first European structure on the Mississippi River. It was built by the French. They had an expedition. They lost a guy. In reality, the guy they lost was their gunsmith, and it was February, and they were in a swamp. So they were like, screw it, we're staying here. Fort Prudhomme became Fort Assumption after the French said, 1,000 troops, go for it. It was like the Mos Eisley of the French frontier, like more wretched hive of scum and villainy you will not find. That's Fort Assumption. So after the Revolutionary War, North Carolina started selling off land to people that probably shouldn't have bought it, and they didn't actually have the right to sell it, including a guy named John Rice, who bought a bunch of land near the Mississippi River. When he showed up to inspect his land, the Indians killed him, but it's all right, because he sold it to four rich white dudes from Tennessee who said, let's build a city on a swamp with like 50 squatters. And thank God for cotton, because otherwise that would have been the worst idea in history. So Memphis blossoms, or whatever cotton does, and so the Civil War is pretty much a next big thing that happens to the city. We're cotton, we're ports, so they conquer us in like literally like 3 hours, and one person died. But that's not the interesting story. Is prostitution got legalized because you had the Union garrison here, and so they legalized prostitution to regulate the prostitutes, and that information that they gathered is still used in Army textbooks to this day. And then you have the Memphis Appeal was wildly pro-secessionist, and when the Union troops marched into town, the Memphis Appeal, commercial appeal, marched out of town, and the Union kept chasing it across 3 southern states for like another 2 years. Yellow fever, horrible! It's horrible, it's really bad. Killed a third of the city. It was solved because somebody wanted a clean drink, good martini. So basically, they had a guy who was in the ice business who drilled down and said, there's aquifers under the city of Memphis. He drilled down under his hotel, found clean water. Every other hotel and restaurant in the city drilled down. Suddenly, within a year, you had 300 clean water wells, and solved the problem of sewage and stuff. Drugs and war go together, so you have civil war leads to rise to opiate abuse. People come home. Opium scene in Memphis, not really what you would expect it to be. It's kind of like this. It's basically a bunch of rich society women going around with young male sports to opium dens, getting high. Like, think cougars, but Victorian cougars with opium habits. And you get Memphis in the 1880s. Clarence Saunders invented the grocery store, we all know that. But the side effect of that is he invented modern advertising, because suddenly a product, what it looked like mattered. If I have a thing that looks like horrible, a thing that looks like good, I'm buying the thing that looks like good. He kind of made that happen. Mules? Mule capital of the world. So cotton, you till a cotton field, it's uneven ground. Mules can walk on that, they have sure footing. 10,000 mules sold today, more mules than people at one point. Recording engineers, you're going to love this. So FBI, in the 70s or 60s, they basically proved that you could have a voice that counts as a fingerprint and ID. It was because of all the recording engineers in the city of Memphis. So, how is this not negative? Well, because people don't want to die, and because you strive in the face of adversity. You build yourself back up when you're trying to be put down. And this city is half mad, it's self-destructive, it's wildly passionate, and there are certain types of people that thrive here. And when they achieve something, it is so much greater because they achieved it with all that adversity. So I've got 50 stories left to tell this year. I've told 315, and so help me God, I've got...
Got me holding it tight and wondering